The galaxy was quiet. After many years of war, peace had finally come. Planets healed. People smiled again. Humanity, once feared for its power, had changed. It became a builder, a helper, a friend. Earth sent aid to broken worlds. It shared food with hungry colonies. It gave technology to help others grow. Earth even forgave old enemies. People said, the humans have become gentle. But not everyone believed in peace. Far out in the dark part of the galaxy lived the Xarn Empire. They were strong, cruel, and proud. Their world was built on pain. They ruled by fear. To them, kindness was weakness. They saw humans helping others and laughed. They are soft, said the Xarn warlords. They forgot how to fight, said their emperor. They will fall. And so, the Xarn made their move. They chose a small human colony named Hope, a peaceful planet with no weapons. The people there were teachers, farmers, and engineers. Children played under twin suns. It was a place of dreams. But the Xarn turned it into a nightmare. One cold morning, without warning, the sky over Hope turned black. Xarn warships arrived, hundreds of them. They rained fire from the sky. Buildings exploded. Schools burned. Families ran, screamed, and died. There was no army, no defense. It wasn't a battle. It was a massacre. Over 80,000 people were killed. Most were civilians. Thousands of children died that day, crying for help that never came. The worst part, the Xarn recorded it. They sent the video to Earth. Their message was clear. This is your warning, humans. Bow or be broken. The world watched in horror. Earth didn't reply right away. It didn't send bombs. It didn't scream. It didn't cry. Instead, Earth sent one message to the Galactic Council, the group that was supposed to keep peace in the galaxy. An attack on a human colony has happened. We demand justice. The Council met in silence. Then they answered, we will investigate, but please stay calm. No punishment, no action, no help. Humanity waited. People on Earth were angry, but they remembered peace. The leaders held back the army. Mothers cried. Soldiers stood ready. The people asked, will there be justice? 1 week passed. Then came the second attack. The Xarn struck again, this time on another human colony, New Geneva. The target? A hospital ship. It was unarmed. It carried doctors, nurses, and wounded children from Hope Colony who had survived the first attack. The Xarn didn't care. They blew it out of the sky. No survivors. The galaxy froze. No more warnings. No more mercy. This time, Earth didn't wait. Behind the walls of peace, humanity still remembered war. And when Earth's heart broke, its rage woke up. Across the solar system, military fleets went dark. Command centers stopped talking. Old war machines were pulled from the ground and cleaned. Combat mines came back online. But Earth said nothing. To the Council, it sent only this message. We warned once. You did nothing. Now, watch what happens next. To the Xarn, Earth sent no message at all. Instead, it showed them what happens when you cross the line. And this was just the beginning. To be continued in Part 2. Earth's silence before the storm. The Xarn thought they had won. After the second attack, the galaxy was filled with whispers. The Council asked, where are the humans? Why aren't they fighting back? Some believed Earth was afraid. Others said that humanity had forgotten its power. But the truth was far different. Earth wasn't afraid. Earth wasn't silent because it didn't care. No, Earth was quiet because it was waiting. For 1 whole week, the people of Earth watched as the galaxy debated. They watched as the Galactic Council made excuses, blaming the Xarn for their violence, but doing nothing. They heard the voices of diplomats begging Earth not to escalate the conflict. We must talk, they said. We must find peace, they said. But Earth knew something the rest didn't. Humanity wasn't looking for peace anymore. Humanity was looking for justice. And when humanity came, it would not be gentle. It would not beg. It would not speak softly. It would not listen to anyone who refused to listen to them. But Earth was patient. No one expected it. Behind the peaceful words of Earth's leaders, behind the silence, the machines of war began to wake up. Project Black Phoenix was activated. It had been hidden for years, just in case. A secret plan designed to protect humanity, to destroy anyone who threatened their home and their people. It began slowly. First, the old military networks hummed back to life. The Terran stealth fleet came online, hidden ships designed to move without being seen by enemy sensors. They activated at the same time, like shadows across the stars. There were dozens of them, all silent, all waiting for the order. The old human war machines, abandoned for years, were pulled from deep storage. Quantum reactors started up, glowing bright. Eye-controlled drones awoke, their systems scanning the stars, waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, Earth's governments didn't speak. They did not scream. They did not make threats. Instead, they just prepared. The Galactic Council continued its meetings, filled with talks of peace. The Kataran Empire sent a new message. We demand an end to this conflict. Your colonies are not worth your resistance. Stop this now, and we will spare you. It was the same message Earth had heard before. But this time, there was no answer. The silence from Earth was deafening. Then, 5 days later, the Kataran Empire received something they weren't prepared for. A new fleet entered their space. It moved like a ghost. Silent, fast, and deadly. The Kataran thought it was a small, unimportant ship at first. It didn't show up on their scanners. It didn't register in their records. The ship seemed almost invisible, moving through space without a sound. But the Kataran didn't know Earth. What they didn't see was the massive human war fleet behind it, hidden just out of sight. At the exact moment, the Kataran ship saw the first human ship. Their sensors screamed out a warning. It was too late. The silent ships of Earth launched their attack. In seconds, the Kataran fleet was crippled. Massive warships that had once ruled the galaxy were now burning in space. Explosions lit up the sky. The human ships moved so quickly, so silently, that they were almost invisible to the Kataran until it was too late. And still, Earth did not speak. The Kataran tried to retaliate. They launched their own ships into battle. But Earth was prepared. It had studied the Kataran for years. It knew their weaknesses. The human war machines moved like shadows, attacking before the Kataran even knew they were there. As the Kataran fleet was torn apart, their last message was a desperate plea. Stop this, please. You will never win. We will destroy you all. But Earth didn't listen. Earth never listened again. Earth's answer came in the form of a single broadcast. A voice, calm but powerful, spoke through every communication channel in the galaxy. It wasn't a message to the Kataran. It wasn't a message to the Galactic Council. It was a message to the entire galaxy. We warned you. The next time you attack, there will be no more mercy. No more chances. You will pay for the lives you have taken. And then, the fleet disappeared back into the shadows. The galaxy held its breath. The Kataran Empire, once so proud, was left broken and beaten. Earth had made its first move, and it wasn't done yet. The Kataran Empire was broken, but not defeated. The ships that had once ruled the galaxy were nothing but debris now. The massive battle cruisers that had swept across the stars were crushed in moments. The Kataran, those who survived, scattered across the galaxy in fear. They had never known anything like this. And yet, as they regrouped, they still didn't understand what had happened. Humanity's answer had been swift, precise, and devastating. The Kataran couldn't comprehend the calm way Earth had responded. There had been no long speeches, no threats, no calls for peace, just action. The galaxy was stunned. The Galactic Council was in chaos. They had never seen anything like it. The counselors who had ignored Earth's warnings now questioned if the humans could be stopped. They whispered to each other in dark chambers, wondering what could possibly have caused the humans to act so ruthlessly. Meanwhile, on Earth, the leaders didn't celebrate. They didn't even speak publicly. The people of Earth had been waiting for this moment, but now that it had come, they weren't dancing in the streets. There was no victory party. No one cheered. Humanity had been pushed too far, and now the Karn would pay for their mistake. Earth's next move was sudden. Without warning, humanity's final fleet, the Black Phoenix Fleet, arrived in Tarn space. It wasn't just a fleet. It was a statement. The Black Phoenix Fleet was unlike anything the Xarn had ever seen before. The ships were sleek and dark, their surfaces made of a strange material that absorbed light. They moved like shadows, faster than anything the Xarn had ever encountered. The fleet wasn't just powerful. It was a message. The Xarn scrambled. They tried to call for reinforcements. They called for help from their allies across the galaxy. But Earth was prepared for this too. The communication systems they had used to contact the Xarn were now blocked. The Xarn couldn't even get a message out. The Xarn ships that tried to engage the Black Phoenix Fleet were destroyed before they could fire a single shot. Human ships tore through their defenses like paper. They didn't fight in the same way the Xarn did. They didn't send wave after wave of attacks. Instead, the humans struck like a surgical blade, cutting deep into the heart of the Xarn Empire. One by one, the Xarn outposts fell. Their weapons were useless against the Black Phoenix Fleet. Their soldiers fought bravely, but they didn't understand what they were fighting. The humans had prepared for this. They had studied every weakness that Xarn had, every weak spot in their armor, every flaw in their strategy. The humans didn't just fight to win. They fought to send a message. And the message was clear: never again. But it wasn't just about winning the battle. It was about taking everything that Xarn had, everything they had ever taken from others. The Xarn Empire had grown fat from plunder, from taking the lives of weaker species, from stealing planets and resources. They thought they could keep doing it forever, but they never expected the humans to fight back like this. And they never expected Earth to take everything they had built. The first target of the Black Phoenix Fleet was the Xarn homeworld. It was a dark, volcanic planet, surrounded by vast fields of floating debris. The Xarn Empire had ruled from here for centuries. The capital city, Sarner, was a place of towering spires and massive, intimidating structures. But the city was silent now. Human ships surrounded the planet, blocking any chance of escape. The Xarn leaders who had survived the attack begged for mercy, pleading for Earth to stop. They offered everything: resources, technology, and promises of peace. But Earth didn't answer. They didn't need to. The Black Phoenix Fleet unleashed everything they had. In a flash, the Xarn capital was consumed in fire. The sky was filled with explosions as the humans tore down the empire. The Xarn watched, helpless, as their great city fell. No mercy, no more chances. It wasn't just an attack on a planet. It was a statement. The Xarn begged for mercy, but humanity's wrath had been awakened. There was no going back. The Xarn Empire was broken, but they weren't dead. Not yet. In the days following the fall of their capital, the remaining Xarn leaders scattered across the galaxy. They hid in the shadows, in dark corners of space where the human fleet could not easily find them. The once proud empire was now a shadow of its former self, crippled and divided. But even broken empires have their last defenders. The Xarn weren't ready to give up just yet. They sent out desperate messages across the stars, begging for help, promising unimaginable rewards to anyone who would come to their aid. They tried to find allies among the other galactic races, but their pride had already cost them too much. No one trusted the Xarn anymore. And then they turned to the only place left to them, the Galactic Council. The Council, now reeling from humanity's wrath, was forced to act. The leaders had been too slow to react, too hesitant when humanity warned them. They had ignored the truth, but now they couldn't ignore the consequences. The human fleet had already done too much damage. The Council sent envoys to Earth, hoping for peace, hoping for forgiveness. The message was clear. We need to work together. The Xarn Empire is no longer a threat. Please, let us find a way to end this conflict. Earth did not respond right away. Instead, Earth waited. For days, the leaders of Earth remained silent. The people of Earth went about their lives. But there was an undercurrent of tension. Everyone knew what was coming. They had watched the Xarn's cruelty for years. They had heard the stories of what the Xarn had done to countless innocent species. But this was different. Humanity wasn't just reacting to the Xarn anymore. This was about principle. This was about teaching the galaxy what would happen if you underestimated humanity. At last, the Earth gave its answer. The message was simple. The Xarn were given a chance. They threw it away. They have taken too much. And that was it. Earth made no further comments, no speeches. They didn't need to. The message was clear. The Xarn had crossed a line. Now, there would be no more mercy. But the Galactic Council was not satisfied. They still believed Earth's punishment was too harsh. They argued that the humans could not keep attacking the Xarn. There had to be a way to bring peace to the galaxy. They tried to persuade Earth to stop, to negotiate. But the truth was, the Galactic Council had no power left. The humans had made their move. They had sent their message. The galaxy had seen their wrath, and they were not about to stop now. In a final, desperate act, the remaining Xarn leaders decided to do what they had always done: fight back. They launched a full-scale assault on Earth's colonies in the Outer Rim, hoping to regain some power. They thought that by attacking the human colonies, they could force humanity to negotiate, to stop the destruction. They thought they could weaken humanity enough to have a chance at survival. They were wrong. The Black Phoenix fleet didn't wait for the Xarn to come to them. They had already anticipated this move. The fleet was already in position, waiting for the Xarn to make their final mistake. In a matter of hours, the Xarn ships were surrounded. The colonies they had attacked were reinforced and protected by Earth's most advanced technology. The Xarn forces were destroyed before they could even make it to the Outer Rim. The battle was swift, brutal. No one was spared. The Xarn tried to retreat, but there was nowhere to run. Every escape route was blocked. Their ships were too slow, too outdated. The Black Phoenix fleet was too fast. It was too powerful. And the humans were not done yet. When the battle was over, and the Xarn forces lay in ruins, Earth sent one final message to the galaxy. We gave you a chance. We gave the Xarn a chance. Now, no one can hide. Not from us. Not from the consequences of their actions. The galaxy was silent. The Xarn Empire, once a fierce and mighty force, was no more. Their pride, their cruelty, had led to their downfall. The remnants of their forces had been scattered across the stars, fleeing from the wrath of humanity. But as the dust settled, new questions began to rise. Was the galaxy really safe now? Or had humanity awoken something far worse? The Galactic Council, bruised and broken, tried to regain control. They had watched the destruction of the Xarn Empire, and though many were relieved that the threat was gone, a dark shadow hung over the council chambers. They knew the Xarn weren't the true threat. Humanity was. The counselors began to whisper in private, their conversations filled with fear. The humans had shown what they were capable of, and the galaxy wasn't ready for what was coming next. They feared what would happen if humanity ever decided they were done with the council. And it wasn't just the council that feared humanity. Across the galaxy, entire fleets of alien races, once content with the balance of power, now found themselves nervous. Humanity had shown them that it was no longer the quiet, peaceful species they once were. The human fleet had only grown stronger. their Black Phoenix fleet now the most powerful force in the galaxy. Their technology was unmatched, their strategies flawless. The galaxy's deadliest predators had learned the hard way. Underestimate humanity, and you pay the price. But humanity was not content to just sit back and enjoy their power. They had come for something bigger. Earth's leaders gathered, not in celebration, but in quiet discussion. They knew the next steps would be critical. They had destroyed the Xarn, but they had to be sure no one else would follow in their footsteps. The galaxy needed to understand that humanity was not to be trifled with. There was no turning back. And so, humanity's next move was set into motion. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It wasn't just about the Xarn. Humanity was sending a message to everyone in the galaxy. We are the new rulers. The Galactic Council, already on edge, was now in a state of panic. They knew that humanity could not be stopped. Their fleets were too fast, their weapons too powerful. They could not afford to ignore the growing strength of Earth's empire. Desperate, the Council called for a meeting with Earth's leaders. They needed to find a way to stop humanity's advance, to rein them in before they destroyed the last remnants of galactic order. The fate of the galaxy rested in their hands. When the counselors arrived on Earth, they were greeted by cold silence. No pleasantries, no promises of peace, just a simple, unyielding message. You failed. The Xarn Empire is gone. There is no more peace to be made. The galaxy is now ours. The counselors were shocked. There were no negotiations, no talks of alliances. The humans didn't want peace anymore. They didn't need it. They had conquered the Xarn, and now they were preparing to do the same to anyone who stood in their way. The Council tried to respond. They argued, pleaded for the galaxy's survival. But humanity was done listening. Their decision was final. As the counselors left Earth, they felt the weight of the galaxy's future press on their shoulders. They knew what humanity was capable of. They knew that the humans weren't looking for peace. They were looking for control, and no one would stand in their way. Back in the stars, the Black Phoenix fleet prepared for its next campaign. Earth's military had been quiet, but only to regroup. Now, with the Xarn defeated, they were ready for more. In the farthest corners of the galaxy, whispers spread like wildfire. The humans had defeated the Xarn. They had destroyed their capital, obliterated entire fleets, and shown the galaxy the true face of human wrath. And now, those whispers began to turn into fears. What would humanity do next? Would they stop with the Xarn, or were they preparing to make their move on the entire galaxy? The galaxy held its breath. After the destruction of the Xarn Empire, no one dared to move too quickly. The balance of power had shifted. Humanity had not just sent a message. They had made a statement that echoed across the stars. We are the rulers now. And as the weeks passed, it became clearer that the galaxy was not ready for what humanity had planned. The Galactic Council could barely hold itself together. The members were divided. Some wanted to retaliate, to strike at humanity before they could grow even stronger. Others whispered that it was already too late. Humanity's fleet was too powerful, their military too advanced. Every ship they had was a perfect instrument of destruction, a reminder of what had already been done to the Xarn. As the council bickered, the rest of the galaxy waited. Across the stars, a new fear grew, a fear of humanity's next move. Would they stop at the Xarn, or would they turn their gaze toward the other races that had once been so confident in their own power? The Corva, the Raka, the Zethians, all now knew that humanity had become the most dangerous force in the galaxy. And yet, there was still hope for those who wanted peace. There were still factions that believed that the humans could be reasoned with, that they could be brought back into the fold of galactic cooperation. But there was one problem. Humanity had no interest in cooperation. On Earth, the leaders sat in their war rooms, planning their next moves with cold precision. The message was the same. We are the dominant force now. The galaxy will either bend to us, or it will break. The Black Phoenix fleet had been given new orders. Their next target was not just another empire. Humanity was no longer fighting for survival, but for control. And they weren't going to stop until every last corner of the galaxy knew what it meant to cross them. Humanity had already set their sights on the Corva, a race known for their warrior culture and vast fleets. The Corva had once been feared across the galaxy, their ships and technology almost unmatched. But humanity was about to show them what it meant to face an enemy that would never surrender. The Corva Alliance had heard the whispers. They knew what was coming. But they didn't believe it. They thought their strength would be enough to hold back the human threat. After all, the Corva had never backed down, and they had always fought for their survival. Surely, the humans would be no different. But they were wrong. The day came when the Black Phoenix fleet arrived in the Corva system. The Corva warships were ready, their guns locked and loaded. They had prepared for this day, but nothing could prepare them for the sight that awaited them. Humanity's fleet arrived, not with the brute force of the Tarn, but with strategy. Their ships were smaller, faster, and more precise. Every move had been calculated. Every attack was a step toward complete victory. The Corva Alliance, once proud and unbeatable, found themselves outmatched. The human fleet didn't just overwhelm them with sheer numbers. They outmaneuvered them at every turn. Every battle they fought, the humans gained ground, and the Corva found themselves losing more ships than they could afford. Within hours, the Corva Alliance was on the brink of collapse. The Corva leaders sent desperate messages to the Galactic Council, begging for help. They had once been the strongest force in the galaxy, but now they were nothing more than a footnote in humanity's rise. They asked the Council to intervene, to unite the galaxy against the humans. But the Council was too weak, too divided. They could not stop humanity, not anymore. The humans had already proven they were unstoppable. And then the final blow came. As the last of the Corva ships fell, humanity's fleet moved in. They didn't destroy the Corva homeworld. Not yet. Instead, they sent a final message, loud and clear across the galaxy. This is your final warning. The galaxy belongs to humanity. Anyone who dares to oppose us will suffer the same fate. The Corva were broken. Their once mighty fleet lay in ruins, their leaders were captured, and their people were scattered. The Black Phoenix fleet turned away from the Corva system, their mission complete. But the message had been sent. Humanity was not done. They were just getting started.